What's up, guys? Welcome to Knockers on the Bottom. I'm your host, Jay Miller if you like, so let's get into it. So, last episode, we graded the the offensive line since it was the bye week. This time, we're going to grade the skill positions of the Dallas Cowboys offense. I'll actually save the defense for tomorrow. By skill positions, we can start with the quarterback, Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has played very underwhelming to start the season for me. We rely on him a lot, especially now paying him $60 million. We're relying on him a lot more to kind of bail out some of the offensive deficiencies that this team has at the moment. Now, I saw a post on Twitter which was like, hey, why does Dak not need weapons just because he makes $60 million, right? This is not so much about Dak needing weapons as it is about our scheme needing to be updated. Because if you look at it, I would say Brandon Cooks before he went out, plus CeeDee Lamb, plus Jalen Tolbert, plus Jake Ferguson, when you're looking at just the passing game and the skill position receivers. I'll get to the running backs in a minute. But those are pretty good skill positions. I look across the league, right? And there's very few teams that have a foursome like that. You go into our own division, right? And the Commanders, as far as their receiving weapons, they've got Terry McLaurin, Josh Doctson. I mean, what else? Legit, what else? And Jaden Daniels, a rookie, is still doing his thing, right? The Giants have Malik Neighbors, but would you consider, Wandell Robinson and, those other guys being awesome skill positions? I mean, the Eagles have a very, very, very solid 1-2 punch, with Brown and Smith, but, again, at the receiving position, I still, like, the Cowboys have the better tight end group out of all of them. And in the division, I would say we have the second best receiving core. I believe the Eagles have the best receiving core. So the disconnect here isn't so much the weapons that Dak has to throw to, right? It's the decisions he's making. There's been two separate times where he should have gone to the back pylon to CeeDee Lamb, and instead he throws either to the front pylon or the middle of the end zone, and they're intercepted. Or plays where he is fumbling the ball in the red zone for a loss. And then, another play where thankfully our running back fumbles the ball, he jumps on it, and it leads to a game-winning play the very next snap. But there's just been a lot of poor reads, honestly. I mean, the interception over the middle to Jalen Tolbert, poor read. Some of the plays where he was forcing the ball against New Orleans, maybe not necessarily poor reads, more so that the Cowboys were out of the game at that time and he needed to force the issue in order to get us back into the game. But overall, man, I think Dak Prescott has been painfully average, just like the Cowboys team has been painfully average. So then we go to the skill positions. I would give CeeDee Lamb a C as well. He's also been painfully average. It doesn't matter whether he's, involved early. He still doesn't get involved late. I don't know how much of that is on the play caller, the quarterback, the defense dictating it, or CeeDee Lamb. If I had to guess, I would say that's probably a combination of everything, right? Because it's usually not just one thing that causes the situation to be what it is. It's usually a combination of everything. You can't just blame Dak. You can't just blame McCarthy. You can't just blame CD. You can't just blame the defense. It's probably a percentage on everything. But at the end of the day, we still need to see the results. He got paid the second highest receiver, and I don't know if you've gotten a chance to watch Jamar Chase or Jefferson, any this season. I'm pretty sure you are. You're football fans. You're here listening. Those guys are making plays. Jefferson's making spectacular catches, showing that he is truly the best wide receiver in the game. I'm thinking about the play against the Pittsburgh Steelers where Dak drops a dime, or actually, I'm sorry, it's not the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's the Detroit Lions. One of the few plays during the game, and it was early in the game, where Dak drops a dime on CD right to the pylon like he was supposed to, actually made the right throw. CeeDee Lamb gets open on the fade route, turns, The ball goes over the corner's head. The ball hits CD Lamb in both hands and ends up on the ground. And these are some of the spectacular plays we were seeing CD Lamb make last year when he, was looking for that contract. I feel, maybe his concentration is not where it needs to be because he's bitching so much about not getting the ball when he feels like he should get it or getting it in proper positions. There's times where he runs his routes lazy. I can't wait to show you guys the film. I'm hoping, when I start showing you guys the film after the 49ers game next week, that he kind of corrects some of those things and he looks like he's running with purpose and he's getting open and he's making plays after the catch and the offense is looking like a well-oiled machine. I hope this all goes away, but I don't think this is something that's going to get fixed with one bye week. So we'll get to look at it a lot. Jalen Tolbert, I actually give him a B, man. Not too crazy, but I do think he's actually made some plays. He got a pass breakup, against him in the Detroit Lions game where it looked like he looked back into the sun, lost the football and it just hit him straight up. It's a catch if it's nighttime, I believe. But Jerry Jones refuses to put curtains up. That's Jerry. He doesn't care if the sun, bothers his team. He just cares that his stadium looks nice. So you have Jalen Tolbert with a B. Brandon Cooks incomplete because he's injured right now. And we'll get to see once he comes back from his injury how the Cowboys decide to deploy him. I hope it's different than what they were doing before the injury because right now there's been all these different stop routes where you're just running to the sticks and turning around. It looks a lot like, Scott Linehan's offense at the end of the Jason Garrett, or not quite at the end because at the end it was Kellen Moore, but at the end of Scott Linehan's tenure with the Cowboys, the offense had become very predictable, very stale. And teams, I remember during that time, teams saying after the game, like, we knew exactly what they were going to run. When they lined up in this formation, we knew exactly what they were doing. There was no sort of deception whatsoever. And it looks like we're very similar to that now. And what happens with that is when you give NFL defenses time to just like sit there and know exactly what you're doing and sit on routes. And of course, you're going to get turnovers. You get guys running with the ball loose from their body, you're going to get 5 turnovers like you did against the Detroit Lions with people punching the ball away. So there's that. Now, fullback, we only have one on the roster, Hunter Lipke. I'd give him an A. I actually think the Cowboys are doing themselves a disservice by not involving him more in the offensive game plan because every time the dude gets the ball in his hands, he makes a play. Whether it's the screen pass to the outside against the Steelers that he almost scored on, whether it's the drag route against the Baltimore Ravens going over the middle of the field, running a wide receiver type route and making that beautiful catch, or Dak being under duress and shoveling it to Lipke, and Lipke gets the ball, in the middle of the pocket. I believe that was against the Steelers as well, and, turns around and takes off up the middle and gets a first down. Dude is making plays, man, and it's a shame that we go through games and he's not getting the snap count because we're still enamored with some of our running backs. So I give Hunter Lipke an A. Now let's go to the running back. So I believe everybody except for Rico Dowdle gets an F. The only person I'm willing to give more than an F, like I said, Rico Dowdle, I give him a C to a C plus. I think he's an okay running back, and I think he'll be awesome as our second back. Or maybe he would be awesome as our lead back if we just committed to it. But the Cowboys are so discombobulated with their entire offensive game plan right now that it seems like each week they go into the week, they don't know what to do, right? They must practice all week. They must watch film. I feel like they have to be game planning. So it sucks that it looks this bad. If we take out the game against the Cleveland Browns, right, where the Cowboys had 33 points, and honestly, we got a kick return for a touchdown in that game, and we got like 5 field goals as well, so the special teams put up more points than the offense, but that's neither here nor there. If we take out that game, the Cowboys have scored 19, 25, mostly in the fourth quarter, 20, 20, and 9. That is some poor offensive football. The Cowboys are, if we didn't have that Browns game, we'd be close to averaging barely 20 points a game. And in the NFL, most defensive coordinators will tell you, hey, if you hold the team to 20 points or less, we can win that game. We can win that game. If we go out there and we only give up 20 points, our offense will score more than 20 points most times in the game, right? So I think this comes back to the running back room. Because, like I said, I don't feel like the receiving skill position is that poor. I don't think they're that talent poor. I think the running back room is actually dragging down the entire offense. If we had some semblance of a credible running game, it doesn't have to be spectacular, right? But if we could have a running game that at least defenses were like, hey, if we sit back and drop 7, or if we sit back and drop 8, this team can march the ball down the field running it and get us out of those looks. So how about we don't necessarily drop back 8 and play more, committed defense to both stopping the run and the pass. With the Cowboys, no defense has to worry about stopping the run. They don't. They could play a 5-man box if they wanted to, and we wouldn't be able to run the ball down anyone's throat. So, a lot of the things on tape or in concert, of course, it's the play calling mixed with the offensive line blocking, mixed with the running backs being poor, whether it's Ezekiel Elliott's slow to the hole and slow through the hole, whether it's Rico Dowdle's lack of vision sometimes, whether it's Mike McCarthy taking Deuce Vaughn and running up the middle for 4 plays instead of getting the small, fast guy out on the edges, whether it's, us not scheming up more plays for Hunter Lipke because for some reason we want Ezekiel Elliott to be in the game. It's all a mess. So I graded the offensive line last time individually. That's my grades on the skill positions. And if I had to grade the offense as a whole, it would be C minus. It would be just literally painfully average. And that's not going to work in the weeks to come. I mean, the Cowboys have to play the Falcons. They have to play the 49ers. They have to play the Houston Texans. They have to play the Washington Commanders twice. They have to play the Eagles twice. So there are going to be some games where the Cowboys are going to have to score some points. They're going to have to get in gear. Otherwise, they could get ran out the stadium pretty quickly and pretty often. Like this loss against the Lions, this can become the norm for us over the next 4 to 5 weeks if the Cowboys don't get their act together. But that's all I got for you guys. Thank you for tuning in. You can follow me on Twitter at JMillerIYL. That's JMiller if you like. You can also hit me up via email, knockersonthebottom@outlook.com. Again, knockersonthebottom@outlook.com. You can also hit me up at knockersonthebottom@gmail.com. You can leave comments below if there's anything specific you want me to cover or anything specific that you have questions on. I'll take them here. I'll take them Twitter. I'll take them via email, put them into a mailbag segment, make it a regular format, mailbag format, make it a regular segment. But thank you guys. Like I said, love you so much. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so that you know when I'm coming on. But thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, I'm your host, J Mill if you like. This has been Knockers on the Bottom. Peace.